The world is finally waking up to the horrors in China, but the realization has come too late and at too high a price. On this show, we've often told you about the mass detention camps in Xinjiang. Since 2017, we have been reporting how China has targeted its own people, how the state spies on them, locks them up in mass camps, tortures them. Many of these people have disappeared. Some have been forced into labor. The full extent of their ordeal is still revealing itself. Here is the latest. Chinese men are raping women inside these camps in Xinjiang. And these are not sporadic cases. This is systemic. This is state-sponsored rape. That's what we are calling it, because there's no other way to define or describe it. State-sponsored rape. The Chinese state is behind a brutal campaign to rape Uyghur women. There are eyewitness accounts now. Detainees who fled China are speaking out. To call this horrific would be an understatement. The Chinese state should be held responsible for crimes against humanity for what is happening here. What I'm about to tell you may be distressing for some of you, and we advise viewer discretion. Here is what happens inside China's Uyghur detention camps. Women are removed from their cells, quote unquote, every night. They are forced to strip. They're handcuffed. They're taken to rooms without surveillance cameras. These rooms are called black rooms. Here, the Uyghur women are raped by one or more masked Chinese men. These are statements from detainees, the ones who managed to escape from China. They're the ones telling the story. Some of them have shared their stories with a British broadcaster. One of the victims says she was detained for months. She was tortured and gang raped on 3 occasions, each time by 2 or 3 Chinese men. Another woman spent 18 months in detention. She says that she was forced to assist the guards when they raped women, and if she refused, she was punished. How do you assist in rape? She was forced to remove the clothes of the victims. She handcuffed them and was later made to clean the rooms. Reports say some women never returned after they were taken from their cells. Those who came back were threatened. They were prevented from speaking to others about their horrors. So much for China's re-education camps. These are dens of state-sponsored crime. There is a culture of rape inside China's detention camps, and the world must take part of this blame. Silence is complicity. They have ignored China's human rights abuses for the longest time. The pandemic has changed some of that. The United States now says that China has committed crimes against humanity. China has committed a genocide. Washington wants an immediate and independent investigation by international observers. A demand that is now backed by Australia too. The Australian Foreign Minister wants international observers and the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights to visit Xinjiang. She says China must give them immediate and unfettered access. Well, they can only ask. What is China's response? A flat-out denial. China has used every negative word in its dictionary to dismiss these charges, from lies to sheer nonsense. That's what China has called them. A press conference was held in Xinjiang. A Communist Party official termed America's genocide description a quote-unquote piece of waste paper. He criticized former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Pompeo perhaps was the first member of the American government to use the word genocide for what's happening in Xinjiang. In the last 1 week, 12 senior officials have written an article each in a local newspaper called the Xinjiang Daily, again hitting out at Mike Pompeo. Perhaps they're still living in last month. America has a new government. Antony Blinken has replaced Mike Pompeo in the State Department of the U.S. Beijing too has issued a statement. They've dismissed the fresh claims as false information. What about the victims? China calls them actors.
有关的这个媒体
Some of the people interviewed by relevant media have been proven to be nothing more than actors spreading false information. We also hope that the media will face up to the facts and stop disseminating such unfounded and scandalous remarks and actions on Xinjiang-related issues.
没有依据的抹黑、诋毁中国的言行。
Why is China fighting these claims so aggressively? Because this does not augur well for Beijing. China is already under a lot of pressure. The Xinjiang story is just the tip of the human rights abuses that the Chinese state perpetrates on its people. Imagine more victims speaking out. How many people can Beijing silence or dismiss? It is already facing heat over the 2022 Winter Olympics. As many as 180 human rights groups are now calling for a boycott of this event. And America and Australia now want an independent investigation. This may just be the beginning. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.